who used to be that crackhead or that drug dealer. You brought up Biggie, even in the movie when the girl he wouldn't serve because she was pregnant, but he did, and then he saw her, years later when the kid had grown up and was doing good. That's my point. That it's so much more accepted today for people to do drugs than it was when I was coming up. Because again, if you smoke coke, not coke was always for rich people. That's cool. But if you were smoking crack, heroin, all that other stuff, you were corny. Like that was like you were cluck. Now motherfuckers is cool like shit. They want to put crack rocks and weed now, smoke it. They trying to make all these different other drugs and party drugs and shit like because it's cool. Like XC wasn't super popular back when we was a kid, and unless you talk about MDMA.
Oh hell, actually been possible, been on top shelf for some folks the last 60 years, man. What you think?
That's why you talk about MDMA.
I mean, about 30, 40 years.
Before it was called ecstasy.
It was called ecstasy back then. In my day,
it was just MDMA, and saying the chemical structure was what it was then. It's different now because it wasn't. It's common. Like you can go to most clubs and get somebody to sell you an X pill inside the club for $20.
PCP and Angel dust.
I think everybody. I think they've been drug users. They just kind of like it. Just been a little. It would maybe market it different. Like when you think about like the Quaaludes and how popular the Quaaludes was, and doing all that back then in the Cosby days. And what you say?
Quaaludes were a prescription drug that got banned after they found out how addicted they were.
I mean, that's the most popular drug today for at least for in our community is prescription drugs. It's the pop and the pills, the perks, and all that type of stuff. That's one of the go-tos is, or the guys.
The biggest difference is as simple as saying back on the playground, if somebody says something like your mama smoked C or your mama a C head, that was offensive. Now your mama is literally on her Instagram story and on her TikTok talking about she popped perk and it's cool. Like like literally viral videos are like we all pop perks, like we all do, and I'm just like that. I think that is the point that Willie is trying to make. Like it wasn't a publicized thing where if you was a C head, you was a C head. But it wasn't like you was out here being necessarily like proud of it versus a lot of Gen Z and millennial. Well, I can't even really say a lot of Gen Z is just straight up like we pop perks. We do that. It is what it is. Like it's cool if I'm in a section nodding off. No, it's not. It's not cool. Versus like in millennial days, it was cool if you was a drug dealer. That was maybe more so accepted. All right, he make paper, he gonna get it out the mud, he hustle. But it's not, it's literally okay if you just go in the bathroom and find a random stranger doing whatever drugs they doing. Ain't nobody gonna judge them. 9 times out of 10, if you go in the bathroom and you ask for it, they'll just straight up share it with you, and it's just a community thing at this point. Like that's what I think he's saying, and I do kind of see that because it's literally just like all the rappers is openly admitting I took the perk. I knew it wasn't a real perk. I knew it was a pressed perk from the dude house who didn't even pass 10th grade chemistry, and that's still cool with me. It's all right.
Yeah, I guess I'm just mindful to hold old people feet to the fire when they try to act like they shit don't stink, because they gonna do it. Our moms listen. If you let your mom lie about your childhood, she will. She will act like she didn't used to whoop your ass because she don't want to whoop the grandkids or nothing like that. She'll act like she ain't do a lot of shit. It's gonna wipe right away from her memory. A lot of these old women gonna act like they wasn't hold up. Yeah, a lot of these old women.
Hey, that's why I don't even trip on y'all no more. When y'all be calling us out, I don't even trip. When I first got back to the crib, when I moved back 10 years ago, and them young bloods was like, and I'm a neutron, I'm an L7 beta simp, whole stud, all that. When them young bloods was talking about what they seen take place with, because y'all keep saying millennials. No, Gen X was the dope boys. Nino Brown was the Gen X dope boys that they really saw running through your mom's, piping her down and putting her back out there on the blade to get out the mud for him, right? So when I got back to the crib, they ain't want to hear nothing I was saying. I had to eat that. Them young blood, and listen. I wore glasses all my life. Hey man, I'm a nerd. Y'all, they don't want to hear from me, fam. I had to eat that. I had to tone down and come to where they at. So you 1000% right.
Now check this out. How many folks remember Freaknik?
They don't. You talking to a different.
All right, so you're talking about now back in
yes, the fuck we do.
I'm
Yo, hey, look, Will, you was not there for no Freaknik.
No, I wasn't there. My whole ass cousins was. Trust me, I know a lot about Freaknik.
Now, if I may,
He was there with them nasty helpers for Freaknik.
Now check this out.
Yeah.
The whole thing I bring Freaknik up because of the fact that you had women about 2 or 3 years ago freaking out because people had videotape. Now think about it. You got your mom up here talking about how you supposed to be, how you supposed to acting, and she's in the middle of the park with her whole ass out. Whole ass out.
I was
and
just on a panel with somebody's daughter that saw their mama on top of the car.
And these women were mad as hell when Luke was talking about releasing that because of the fact he said, let me show you how we got down in the 90s. But the thing was still, that's where the standards start to drop. And Chicago and I have done a couple shows on the value conversation, genetic spoken word. Hence, this is why we wear the hats, the Council of OGs, old school gents with old school guidance. And we do this, at least we get together, we try and do it at least once a month. But on one of the shows, we talked about how you had old school behavior that was changing with the new. And around 88, 89, I've said this before, that's when you could see the change in society. You had things like, remember, Married with Children, where you see that whole family structure. Remember, you had Leave It to Beaver. You had Ozzie and Harriet. You had The Cosby Show. You had Different Strokes. You had these type of family functions. In 30 minutes, there was a problem that got solved and everybody walked away with a win. But then you started bringing on, again, stuff like Married with Children. The father's an idiot. They play him like a joke. They laugh at him, call him names direct to his face, chastise him. Beavis and Butthead, Cow and Chicken. 90210, you start seeing the decline right there. And all it takes is having anything on television long enough to where people will start emulating it. Remember, gotta get a roughneck. Next thing you know, everybody's walking around with has to say thug. But even before then, we're talking about going back to 88, 89. One day you're in the club listening to Fresh Prince. You're listening to maybe Chubb Rock. The next thing you know, here comes Easy. Here comes Easy. And now we've got Respect Yourself. Or we got something from NWA taking over the club. We got the whole thing that is changing it. Public Enemy doing his damnedest to make sure that we're awareness of the black struggle, fight the power. But while you sat at the same time doing that, you've got gangster rap, and you got other folks jumping up, changing the curriculum, folks. So yeah, I can see where we got to where we are right now, and take that what I'm saying when it entered into society down to where you got kids jumping a woman and her kids in school in public and don't think a damn thing about it.
Yeah. It's another thing the old heads like to do.